The top 10 worst cold calling mistakes beginners make in cold calling, and honestly, some experts make when starting out in wholesaling real estate. What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here, and I've done over 1,000 wholesaling real estate deals, and I have done a lot of cold calling. I've put my 10,000 hours into cold calling, and what I want to do is show you the biggest mistakes most beginners make in cold calling and the stuff that you actually need to change in your real estate wholesaling business when it comes to your cold calling so you can be successful in your cold calling so you can get as many real estate wholesaling deals as possible. I could tell you right now, it took me tens of thousands of hours actually cold calling my real estate wholesaling business to learn that this was a mistake and stop doing it. So you need to learn exactly what I got to tell you today so you can't make this, so you don't have to make the same mistakes I did. But before we get into it, do me a big favor and smash that like button and subscribe, and let's break it down. So the biggest and probably one of the most common mistakes I find people starting out in real estate wholesaling when it comes to cold calling that they complain to me and they get really upset with, and this is a big one, but it's having the wrong list. The biggest complaint I get from people with cold calling is, number one, oh, Zach, I'm not going to cold call because cold calling's too saturated. When I call, they say, oh, everyone called me. This is terrible. I'm not cold calling. Guys, y'all know that I don't like excuses, and excuses are going to be the biggest detriment to your success in real estate wholesaling. But that is definitely the biggest thing I've found. It's just like, oh, my list is too saturated, whatever. Everyone said, everyone's calling about selling their property. Guys, at the end of the day, if you are having a problem with saturation or anything like that, you just have the wrong list. And that's the biggest mistake I think a lot of people starting out in real estate wholesaling have. And this is number one. This is just having the wrong list. And you need to be having the right list. So if you want to be cold calling lists that no one else is cold calling, you're going to have to pull a list that nobody else wants to call. Why do you think everybody and their mom right now is cold calling a very easy list to pull? Guess why? Because it's really easy to pull. That's why everyone's pulling that list. So you need to be cold calling a list that is, number one, a high chance of someone actually wanting to sell the property. Number two, a very, very hard list to pull for most people. So one that is very motivated and one where not a lot of people are pulling. Where are these lists? These are like probates, water shut off, the arrest record list, fire damage properties. Yes, you're going to get the complaint that's a little harder to pull this list, but guess what? When you call it, there's going to be no other wholesalers calling it. So that's going to give you a lot of really good results. Everyone complains that this is my favorite one. People complain that a list is too saturated, cold calling is too saturated, and then I show them the list to pull, and then they say, that one's too hard. Can you find something where no one pulls it and it's really easy to do? That's the problem. It's like having six-pack abs. Everyone would love to have six-pack abs if it was easy, but no one's willing to put in the work for it. If I wish I could make $1 million by doing nothing all day. If that was a thing, everyone would make $1 million. But no, it is very hard. Getting a real estate wholesaling deal, it's not easy as just sitting around all day doing nothing. So that's the wrong list. Number two biggest mistake I find are people are not disqualifying. People are trying to qualify. And this is the biggest issue I think I find is everybody, when they talk to a seller, they always assume the best, that they are looking to sell and all this stuff. Guys, at the end of the day, I think a lot of people are looking at cold calling the wrong way. If you want to look at cold calling the right way, I would honestly say you have to probably be disqualifying first, be more pessimistic until somebody gives you a reason to be optimistic with your cold calling. What do I mean by this? If I'm talking to someone and say, are you the owner? Yes. Perfect. Are you looking to sell the property? I'm not asking them if they're looking to sell the property, they're interested in selling the property to get the yes. I'm doing it mostly for the no, because the way you got to look at cold calling, most of the conversations you have are going to be people that are going to say, no, I'm not looking to sell the property, which is completely normal. Most human beings aren't looking to sell a property for cash. It's about 1%. So you're going after that 1%, okay? It's ridiculous that most wholesalers, the reason why I call this a mistake is because someone will clearly say they're not looking to sell the property, and then the person cold calling will keep trying to hammer them, just force them to potentially think they might be able to sell at the price. Like, you guys you keep trying to hammer it down that this person needs to sell the property cash. When you have to try to convince somebody that they need your cash offer, it is not a good wholesaling deal. So you need to be the art of disqualifying until someone says they're looking to sell it. Then fine, you get in the 4 questions, you're good to go. Number 3 here, you need to go for either a yes or a no. You got to make a binary. Yes or no. It's a 1 or 0, black or white, red, blue. Like there's no purple, like there's no in between. When you're cold calling, you need to find somebody that is a yes or no. A yes, I'm looking to sell my property, I'm interested in selling it, or no, I'm not looking to sell the property. If someone gives you a maybe, they're probably not motivated. Now, if they give you a maybe, it's in a probate situation like that, that's good, okay? But at the end of the day, if they're in the maybe, then if they were educated, it would be a yes. The ones that are trying to say, I don't know, then maybe if the price is right, I might be able to sell the property. Guys, this is not how we're doing it. This is not how we wholesale. That is not a good real estate wholesaling deal. We're not doing that, okay? You're getting a yes or a no. Number 4, I find this all the time, bad skip tracing. Now, I get it. You don't have any money. You can't use ZachData.com for your skip tracing, right? Or like ListREI.com. I get it. Like not everyone can pay for skip tracing. Use like a TruePeopleSearch.com, which is probably the best free skip tracing you can. It's not amazing data, but it's free and it gets a lot of the job done, right? At the end of the day, I feel like a lot of people complain to me that their cold calling is not as effective when they're scaling it because they have bad skip tracing. Guys, at the end of the day, I tell everyone to use True People Search if you got no money. Still good. Now, there's better services out there. If you use Batch, code Zach, you get 50% off, like listrei.com, listrei.com. That is obviously a very, very, very good service to use, and that's really good skip tracing. Now, if somebody from Pakistan, cold messages you on Facebook about Fiverr, how they have skip tracing for 2 cents each, and then you complain to me that your cold calling is the worst thing ever because you used a Fiverr guy for your skip tracing, you probably made this mistake and you had bad skip tracing. You have to have a company that is reputable, won't steal your data, and has actually been used by multiple people. It has good results. Get good skip tracing. Number 5, another big thing I see a lot of people make a mistake in cold calling. And this isn't like a beginner mistake. This is more of a scaling mistake. Once you start making like $100,000 per year in real estate wholesaling, and a lot of it's coming from your cold calling, a lot of people keep doing that, which is good. But the next necessary step besides hiring a VA to cold call for you is just using a dialer. I think a lot of people struggle not using a dialer starting out when they start getting some deals. And I'm telling you, it'll make you more efficient. And at the end of the day, when you got some money, you should pour it back into your marketing. So I do recommend you use a dialer. I use ZachDialer.com. You can use whatever dialer type service you want. But I do recommend having a dialer when you start making some money to start doing some deals in wholesaling real estate, or if time is a big factor, right? I get all the complaints all the time. Zach, I only have 2 hours a day to cold call. That's fine. It's probably better to use a dialer, but like if you can use the hand dialer, Google Voice or something. That still works. But at the end of the day, a dialer is going to help you out a lot if you're doing some deals. Number 6, this is a really big one, but this is not having a smile when you talk to a seller over the phone. Now, I try my best on the cold call lives. I'm still somebody that I try my best on it, but I still have that kind of that tonality that's nice to a point. But like most of you guys out here need to be smiling more when you're talking to a seller. So if you smile, subconsciously you're in a nicer, brighter, better mood, and that's going to give you better results in your real estate wholesaling. A lot of wholesalers out here do not have a smile. So let's go with this example here. Ring, ring, ring. Hello, hi, is this John? Versus, hello, hi, is this John? You see how there is a slight difference there, and the only difference is because I was smiling, and that puts you in a better mood. Most of y'all out here got to be smiling. So number 7 here, this is a big problem I have with a lot of people cold calling. This is a reason why a lot of people actually quit cold calling. They get quote unquote burnt out in this business. They don't have the end goal in mind. And this is something I've been telling a lot of people lately, but this is absolutely true. Guys, you need to have an end goal in mind in your real estate wholesaling, especially with cold calling. If you don't have an end goal in mind, you're really not going to be that successful in this business. Like you have to have an end goal that, hey, I'm looking to cold call this much, this blah, 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 trying to do this deal, this deal, this deal. It's very important to have an end goal in mind when it comes to your wholesaling, cold calling stuff. Because if you don't have an end goal, how many lists you're going to pull, how many lists you're going to call, how many leads you want to get, like how many deals you want to do from this list, you're going to get burnt out and you're going to have no eventual goal to be going after. And that's why you're going to fail. There's a reason why the biggest companies out here in wholesaling real estate, and even in the entire world, they make goals because it works. You guys need to be making goals for yourself personally and for your real estate wholesaling business. Number 8 here, another big problem I see is people not having a schedule. A little different than the goal making. I tell everyone to make a time budget, a money budget, and a schedule. So if you make a time budget, say, hey, I can dedicate 4 hours a week to cold calling and maybe $100, right? you need to reverse engineer what that's going to be. So if you have 4 hours a week of cold calling, maybe you do 1 hour a day, 4 days a week, right? But like, you just got to make your own schedule, or you're going to say, hey, I'm going to cold call Tuesdays and Thursdays for 2 hours from 12 to 2, 12 to 2, or 2 to 4, whatever. Once you make a schedule, you need to stick to it. That's the biggest problem I have with people in cold calling that complain that they're not being successful. They don't make a schedule and they don't stick. Guys, it is extremely hard in real estate wholesaling not to do a cold calling deal if you make a schedule and you stay consistent for a year, cold calling at least 5 to 10 hours a week, especially on drawing for dollars. It's almost impossible. If you are consistent on like a drawing for dollars or a government list and you cold call that list at least 5 hours a week for a year straight, it is almost impossible to not do a real estate wholesaling deal. The problem is it's almost impossible for somebody who makes excuses to go out here and be consistent. You have to make a schedule and stick with it and be consistent. Okay, that is number one. Number 9, this is another big one I can give to you to probably make you 10 to 15% more efficient with your cold calling. This isn't going to like quadruple your results overnight, but this is something that you can slightly do to get like that slight advantage in wholesaling. And this is a big problem I see, which is not getting off the phone quick enough. I think the biggest issue I think with cold calling is old ladies. And what I mean, like, before you guys rip me in the comments, like, what is this guy talking about? Especially cold calling. A lot of older ladies in Florida. I just don't know why. There's a lot of older people in Florida, but like a lot of older ladies sometimes are lonely, right? They might be in a nursing home or something. You cold call them and they might not want to sell the property, but they just want to stay on the phone with you. Old guys are like this too. Generally older people, I don't know why, but like they'll just try to talk to you for like 15, 20 minutes about real estate. Oh, my son's a realtor. How long have you been in real estate? Like, if the person is not looking to sell the property and they just want to have a fun conversation with you, you need to learn how to get off the phone quickly. That's the one thing I can tell you. This brings us back to number 3 here. Go for the yes or no. If it's a no, get off the phone. If it's a yes, you're fine. If that person is not interested in selling the property, sometimes you just got to cut some. Hey, just checking in. Are you looking to sell the property? Yes or no? You just have to get like, sometimes you got to get an ultimatum to someone, because if you don't do that, I promise you right now, you're going to get caught with a lot of stuff. And if you waste 30 minutes a day under cold calling every single day for a month, that is like 15 hours of cold calling during the month, which you could have saved, which could have been pulling more lists or cold calling more. It's a numbers game, guys. And this is a big issue I have with a lot of people. I get asked all the time. I get told all the time, Zach, you're really mean on the phone. Like, if they say no, bye, have a great day. Like, you're just like boom, boom, boom. And the reason why is because I could probably cold call an extra, I don't know, an hour or 2 a week if I'm just faster, or maybe even 3 to 4. So if I get an extra 3 hours a week of cold calling by just going faster and just getting rid of all the no's really quick, I mean, what's 52 times 3? Like, that's over 160 hours. Like, that's an extra 160 hours that most people aren't willing to do. And if I'm cold calling 25 hours a week, I mean, that's an extra month of cold calling. That like an extra 2-3 deals I can get if I'm just more efficient with it. And over time, those numbers add up and just makes you so much more money and makes you just a lot better wholesaler in a real estate wholesaling business. The last but not least, one of the biggest issues I see with cold calling, especially beginners starting out in real estate wholesaling, is you don't know your objections. A lot of beginners out here don't know their objections before they start cold calling. I actually didn't know my objections starting out in cold calling, and that has put me in some bad situations. If somebody gives you an objection, it's not an automatic no, this is never a good deal. Sometimes people are just inquiring about you and your services and what you're doing, right? It's very important to know your objections. This is why I recommend everyone go to freewholesaling.com and learn actually how to answer these objections the right way. But this is definitely a very interesting one that not a lot of people know. So some people, like, one objection I always get is like, Zach, who are you? What do you want? Huh? How do you get my number? Blah, blah, blah. Like, sometimes they just go after you hard, and you're going to have to answer like, hey, my marketing team got the number. I'm looking to buy properties cash. Like, you got to know what your objections are. Make a little like cheat sheet in front of you when you're cold calling, or like have a little like window, like Google Docs or something opened up where you actually know how to answer these objections. It's going to help you out so much, guys and gals. I'm telling you, like, know your objections, know the most common ones in cold calling, know the most common ones in wholesaling real estate. Watch the videos at freewholesaling.com. They'll show you exactly how to answer these objections and the right way to cold call, using the right scripts, everything like that. So guys, at the end of the day, your cold calling success comes down to you and the confidence you have. So do me a big favor. Go to freewholesaling.com to learn how to actually go out here and cold call your sellers the right way, and smash that like button and subscribe if you got any value from me. So guys, I appreciate it. I'll see you guys soon, and have a blessed one, and happy cold calling.